Ever come home absolutely starving, only to open the fridge and find nothing but disappointment staring back at you? Yeah, I've been there too.
What the f***?
But not today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn simple ingredients into 3 restaurant quality meals that'll actually fill you up and help you lose weight. They're high in protein, made in one pan, and most importantly, ready in just 15 minutes. Let's get into it. You're not trying to ruin your dinner, right? Good. Then let's get this straight first. You'll have enough time to prep everything while the main components of each dish cook on the stovetop. But the first time you make any of these, do yourself a favor and mise en place. If not, you'll be mid-chop, your meat will be burning, and you'll probably want to throw hands with me.
Fight!
Prepping ahead of time will turn these into 18 to 20 minute recipes, but after the first or second try, you'll be able to whip them up in just 15 minutes like a pro. Alright, first things first, we need fries. But how are we making fresh fries in 15 minutes? We're not. When speed and convenience are paramount, a few corners have to be cut. But honestly, some of y'all might even prefer these. So we're grabbing 168 grams of frozen steak fries, tossing them in the air fryer, and giving them a quick spray of oil. Boom. No peeling, no slicing, no crying over potatoes. And these will be done in just 12 minutes. Pro tip, any frozen fries around 90 calories per 84 grams will work here, so check your frozen aisle and see what you can get. Now let's pound some meat.
Oh shit.
In this instance, we're using 93.7 ground beef, weighing out 370 gram balls, and placing them on parchment paper. You heard that right. 3 balls, baby. I choose 93.7 instead of 96.4 because it's juicier while making a way better crust, delivering unlimited flavor. And we're only adding about 45 extra calories to do this. By the way, I love these pieces of parchment paper because they come pre-cut and ready to go. Now lay another sheet on top and smash them down using a pan or anything with a flat bottom. They should each have about 5 inches of girth. In just 2 minutes, you've got 3 smash burger patties ready to go. Time to hit the stove. We've got a pan preheated on medium-high heat and a toaster standing by. Since this whole meal comes together stupidly fast, let's toast our buns now. The bun of choice? Any low-calorie keto bun. This one is only 50 calories, which means more fries for me and you. Now, let's drop our patties into the pan. You should hear an instant sizzle, which signifies mass amounts of flavor, like this video. Then we'll hit every patty with some salt and pepper, and while those cook, we'll get some lettuce and tomato chopped and grab the most luxurious cheese in the world, Velveeta. But again, to save some calories for the fries, I'm only using 2 slices instead of 3. Once you see hella juice pooling on top of the patties, it's time to scrape that brown gold off the pan and flip. Oh my god, look at that beautiful crust. Place that luxurious cheese on the top, let it melt for about 20 to 30 seconds, then stack them up. The bare naked patty goes on the bottom. Assembly time. The tomato goes down first, followed by our stack of cheesy burgers. Now for the final touches, which are 15 grams of ketchup, 10 grams of mustard, and some shredded lettuce. Our fries just finished as well, so give them a quick spray of oil, hit them with salt and garlic powder to taste, and give them a shake. Plate it all up, and we've got a restaurant quality meal in less than 15 minutes.
Oh yes.
With 60 grams of protein. You can clown me all you want, but your boy absolutely chonged box after box of Kraft mac and cheese for dinner growing up. It was elite, peak childhood cuisine. But now, I still want to demolish mac and cheese for dinner. I just needed to make it more luxurious while still fitting our macros. Oh, and we're making it all in one pot, because dishes, no thanks. Alright, grab a pot, slap it on a scale, and add 450 grams water, 240 grams high protein fat-free milk, 224 grams elbow macaroni, and 4 grams of salt. You can utilize chickpea pasta here, which will boost the protein to 50 grams, but you'll need to add more water after cooking. Just be aware that the noodles get too soft for my preference and the cheese sauce may become a little grainy. Give everything a quick stir, making sure the pasta is fully submerged in the liquid. Crank the heat up to high, set a 10-minute timer, and let's take care of the cheese while that cooks. Now, I grew up pouring that green bottle Parmesan on everything, but it just doesn't melt that well or have the same depth of flavor as the real thing. Since our top priority is to have a velvety smooth mac that takes you straight to Flavor Town, we're going to grate in 15 grams of the more expensive Parmigiano Reggiano. In the same bowl, add 84 grams fat-free cheddar cheese and 10 grams of cornstarch. Mix thoroughly. Now, why cornstarch? Because this mac is straight up swimming in liquid, we need a little extra help thickening it up. Cornstarch does the job with almost zero effort, and mixing it with the cheese helps prevent clumps or any weird grainy texture. Checking back on our pasta, it's starting to simmer. Give it a stir so nothing sticks. Next, jalapeno Velveeta slices. We need 5. Unwrapped. Normally, I roll with the sharp cheddar Velveeta, but this is a good example of how you can make the recipe your own by making small changes. At this point, our pot is getting hot, so start stirring more frequently. If you don't, you'll end up with a brown combination of milk, starch, and water that sticks to the bottom of the pot. The mac and cheese will still taste good, but obviously it won't be velvety smooth or look aesthetic. Once the timer goes off, remove the pot from the heat and immediately toss in only the Velveeta. We need the mac to cool down slightly while the Velveeta melts. 2 birds, 1 pot. Once the Velveeta is fully melted, add in the cheese cornstarch mix and start stirring ASAP. Cornstarch can turn cheese grainy if you slack off, so don't stop stirring for the next 2 to 3 minutes. It might look a little loose or watery at first, but give it a second. It thickens up as it cools. Once the mac and cheese looks like this, I will let it cool for 2 minutes, then give it one last stir.
Look how much it thickened up.
Scoop a serving into your bowl, take a bite, and try not to moan. Unless you live alone like me, then go crazy. Alright, if you need more volume for dinner, Meal 3 has your back. And trust me, this one is so creamy and flavorful, it might just have your girl screaming out, The best part? This recipe makes 2 servings, so nobody's going to bed hungry. And satisfaction will definitely be reached. We're starting with some chicken thighs, 4 to be exact, and we gotta trim the excess fat. To me, excess fat is anything that I could pull away from the chicken with my fingers, like this. Boom, gone. But this little bit, it's chill. It sticks to the chicken and adds flavor. Next, we're butterflying any thick thigh parts to help them cook evenly. There's usually one chunky section on each thigh, so just slice about halfway through and open it up like a book. Once all 4 thighs are prepped, grab your cutting board, toss it on the scale, and top with 5 grams of salt and 1 gram of black pepper. Spread that salt and pepper across both sides of the chicken. Then we'll take our chicken to a preheated pan over medium heat. Add 3 grams of avocado oil and lay those thighs down topside first. This gets you maximum crispy surface area. So crispy. And the oil helps with that golden crust while cooking the meat faster. Oh, and real quick, I'll show you a 1-minute rice hack later, but usually I just pressure cook 300 grams of rice with 600 grams of water and 5 grams of salt. It's not fancy nor perfect, but in 20 minutes I've got 5 servings of rice with 0 effort.
The rice in the pot.
And yeah, you saw that right. I didn't wash my rice. Sue me, Uncle Roger. Anyways, the chicken needs about 7 to 8 minutes to cook on the first side, so let's get the rest of the recipe ready. First, grab an onion, a grater, and a plate. Wait, we're grating the onion? Why not dice it? Because I tried that, and it just left me with big old chunks of onion floating in the sauce. Still tasted great, but the texture, nah. We want that onion to melt into the background, so cut the onion in half, grate 80 grams on the small holed side of the grater, and toss it into a small bowl. Next up, garlic. Mince 8 grams into another bowl. For seasonings, we're keeping it simple yet effective. Seasonings are everything in cooking, and that's why all 160 recipes in my cookbook are seasoned to perfection. They've helped thousands of people lose weight and become healthier, and cookbook owners get my new recipes before they ever hit YouTube. Click the link below and use code E4CM for 10% off if you want to grab the book. Now add 3 grams of Cajun seasoning with 2 grams of smoked paprika to a small bowl. Quick note, Cajun seasonings are not all created equal. Most of them are just overpriced seasoned salt in a fancy bottle. But the one that stood out during testing? Chupacabra. If you can find it, I highly recommend it. We'll need to deglaze the pan later, and white wine is a professional deglazer. Pour 50 grams into a small bowl. No wine? No problem. Just sub in 50 grams of unsalted chicken broth. Now let's make our creamy sauce base. In a high-sided container, add 40 grams water, 80 grams 2% cottage cheese, 42 grams low-fat cream cheese, also called Neufchâtel cheese, and 45 grams roasted red pepper. These roasted red peppers, game changer. They bring so much flavor and they're what make this sauce hit different. Blend everything up with an immersion blender for about 30 seconds or until smooth. No immersion blender? A regular blender cup works too. Our chicken is ready to flip, so let's do that, and god damn, look at that crispy exterior. So crispy. Now, I love a little char on my chicken, but be careful. Too much leftover char in the pan can make your sauce taste bitter. To avoid that, I turn down the heat to make sure none of those lovely brown bits stuck to the pan end up burning. To speed the cooking process up, I like to add a tablespoon of water to the pan and cover it with a lid. This shaves off a couple minutes of cook time, but if you're not in a rush, feel free to skip this step. Just don't cover the pan during the initial sear, or else you'll lose that crispy top. While the chicken finishes up, grab a cup of microwave rice, which should be about 200 calories, and heat it according to the package instructions. Yeah, these little cups cost more than regular rice, but when you're in a pinch, they're a lifesaver. We'll finish by slicing up 4 grams of the green part of some green onions. We know our chicken is done when the thermometer is hitting at least 170 degrees, and we'll move them to a cutting board. Time to build flavor in the pan. Add the grated onion and stir it around to pick up all that flavor that's stuck to the bottom. After about a minute, add the garlic and seasonings and mix until both are fragrant. Next, deglaze with the white wine. It should start boiling in about 2 seconds. Now finish scraping up all that flavor-packed goodness from the bottom of the pan. Let the alcohol cook off for about 30 to 60 seconds, then take the pan off the heat. We do this to keep the sauce from breaking or getting grainy. Dairy and high heat do not play nice with each other. Pour in that creamy sauce base and mix until you get a beautiful bright orange sauce. If you want, you could put it back on the heat for 10 to 20 seconds while stirring to make sure it's hot and fresh when serving. Before serving, we'll slice up our chicken and add the cutting board to the scale. Alright, let's plate this meal like we're at a fancy restaurant. We'll start with the cup of rice, followed by 168 grams of our chicken, and top the chicken with half of our sauce, which should be about 110 grams. Oh yeah, and don't forget the green onions. They add a little extra flavor and make the dish pop. No matter which dinner you make, you're gonna be in heaven and you won't believe you can eat like this while losing weight until your scale tells you different. But wait, you still have a major problem. You need a breakfast that'll kickstart your fat loss from the moment you wake up while also satisfying that sweet tooth. In this video here, I'll show you what I eat instead of brownies. They've got 24 grams of protein each and are made in just one bowl. Until next time, deuces.